Hey bitches, it's TechnoSlave69. Mwah. When I moved to Amsterdam in 2018, always at the after parties, I'd be the one like playing music, and I never even ever thought about DJing. Like when I looked at like people playing the decks, I was like, Jesus Christ, this is so fucking complicated. There's no way I could learn this because I also have like ADHD, ADD, so it's very hard for me to learn new things. And I never really even interested me. I was always about dancing, you know, being on the dance floor and just enjoying the music. But then one time at an after party, someone came up to me. I was playing some tracks. I was like, Jesus Christ, like your track selection is fucking crazy. Like if you started DJing, it would be crazy. And I was like, yeah, but no, I'm more of a raver. I just like to dance, this and that. So for Christmas 2019, my brother and mother were trying to figure out what Christmas gift to get me. And then my brother told my mom, why don't we get him a fucking controller? So my mom, when she gave it to me, she was like, you listen to so much techno, why don't you do something with it? I went back to Egypt for a year and a half because my dad wanted me to come back. We didn't know what the corona situation was. And when I went back, I was so depressed, like so depressed that I had to leave Amsterdam and go back to like living in the third world of Egypt. So I locked myself in the room for that whole entire lockdown, just mixing. But I wasn't mixing with the intention to ever start DJing. I would just record sets and then post them on SoundCloud just like as a portfolio for myself to watch my progress without any intention of wanting to get listens or this or that. But then I posted my first set and then a week later I had like 1,000 listens. And then I was like, what the fuck, are these bots? Like there's no way these are real people listening to my sets. So then I opened like the part where you can check the stats of who's listening, and I could see that they're real people. And then I started freaking out. I was like, what the hell? I never even thought I was good, you know what I mean? Like it was never in my head that I could mix or I didn't even think it sounded good, you know? When I used to re-listen to my sets, I was kind of like, it's not that good. But then I started releasing more and more sets and I started to gain followers on SoundCloud. And I was like, what the hell? Like, this is unreal. And then I got my first podcast request. And that was the moment I kind of felt like, oh my God, maybe I could do this professionally. Like, people are asking me to like do podcasts. So, and then I released my first podcast. And then after I released my first podcast, I got a second offer for another podcast. I was like, okay, this is unreal. When I tell you, I swear to God, like, I woke up 9 in the morning and I was stuck in my bed, like my parents were knocking on the door like, hey, come and eat. Like, I just could not leave the mixer. And why I was mixing was because I missed the club so much that I just wanted to listen to fucking techno in my ears, like in full blast, because I missed the club so much, but really with no intention that I wanted to do this professionally. Later on, like maybe 6 months into Corona, when like the illegal raves and stuff were happening, the people of Deira Uni, which is who I'm now a resident with, they asked me to play an illegal rave that they were throwing. And that blew my mind, that somebody wanted me to come and play their party. And I had never met the owners of Deira Uni before. So I emailed them back. I was like, hey, I'm not in Amsterdam. I'm still in Egypt, but as soon as I'm back, I will let you know. And then they were like, please let me know as soon as you're back because we want you to play our party. So a year later, I went back to Amsterdam and then they asked me to play one of their illegal raves. And the first time I played for their illegal rave, they asked me to become a resident. And that was the start of everything. So I'm born and raised in Cairo, so my dad's fully Egyptian and my mom's English. So I'm half Egyptian, half English, but basically Egyptian because I grew up there. So I always knew growing up that I don't fit in Egypt, you know, like the way I am, you know, this is not the ideal way a guy should be in Egypt. So I always knew I wanted to leave. I think my music is very fast and very intense, and my whole entire life growing up in Egypt was very intense. And I feel like the intensity of that also reflects in my music, and that's why I think I play so fast and why I enjoy very like fast music. And I think the intensity of my upbringing and what I went through is why I also play so hard and play so fast. Exactly, like the intensity of it all, and I feel like also the way my brain reflects in my music and like the way I mix. Like I play very chaotically, but it works, you know what I mean? And I'm such a chaotic person, but also it works, you know what I mean? And I reflect that as well in my mixing, you know? I really like to take risks when I'm mixing, not just like bring one track in and be very smooth and classy, no. You know, I wanna, and I think that's also what's going on in my brain and the way my brain works, and I feel like I really reflect that through my mixing as well. Radical self-expression. So growing up, I was never really able to express myself the way I wanted to because, you know, Egypt and the social norms and all that. So when I like moved here, I decided that I'm gonna be myself to the core, you know what I mean? Like even before I started DJing, like dress up the way I wanted to and be in a thong in a club, even when the club isn't very that type of club where you usually are in a thong. But no, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be myself to the core. And I feel like I really reflect that when I'm performing as well, because I really dress up fully myself, and I feel that really inspires other people who are coming to like a techno party for the first time and then seeing this, that like, wow, you can really be yourself in these kinds of environments and really let loose. And I feel like behind the decks as well, like I'd be in my outfit, but then slowly, like throughout the set, I'll be taking off my shirt. I'll be taking off my choker, being comfortable, like behind the decks to make other people feel comfortable who are there. You know what I mean? Like that it's okay to be in a t-shirt if you want to. It's okay to not be in a t-shirt if you want to. And yeah, I feel like I really reflect that through my performances. The first techno experience I ever had was Berghain. I was 17, I managed to get in, and that was my first techno experience. And I remember like being in Berghain and I was dancing on the dance floor, and all of a sudden like I saw all these like naked people and people like in thongs and this and that, and I had never even taken my shirt off, you know, like in a club before, anything like that. So all of a sudden I find myself like taking my pants off and I'm in my underwear and dancing and nobody's looking at me, and I'm like, wow, like this is where I belong, you know what I mean? And I didn't even know what techno was, because in Egypt there isn't techno. There's just like house music and minimal music and all that kind of side of electronic music. So this was really my first time hearing like this intense music, and instantly I felt I was drawn to it. Like I was like, what is this? You know what I mean? I didn't understand it, but then I moved to Amsterdam the year later, and then I explored that scene more. And that's where it all started, really. I would describe my sound as bouncy, groovy, with a little bit of like soul to it as well, very fast paced. And I would describe it as relentless. You know what I mean? Like my sound is fucking relentless. Like, you know what you're gonna get when you're gonna see me play. You know you're gonna be bouncing, you know you're gonna be fucking sweaty. It's gonna hit where it's supposed to hit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're getting with TechnoSlave, babe. I want people to feel like what I previously said before, what I felt when I was at my first techno party, which is inspired, which is feeling that you can be yourself to the core. Like people who have like issues with themselves, which I had as well, like not being able to be themselves, but then seeing other people being themselves fully and just being inspired by that, you know, taking that home with you. And like, I want you to wake up the next morning after like my set and be like, damn, you know, I need to start being myself more because this person is doing it and they're okay, you know what I mean? Because sometimes you don't know that you can be that way and it's okay, you know? And I want people to leave my sets feeling so inspired and happy, and I want it to be like an experience they've never had before. So I want to provide, I want to lead, it's my gut. I feel like a lot of people, like during my sets, they actually are following my energy and I'm not following their energy. I feel like I have so much energy that it's kind of contagious. You know what I mean? My energy is very contagious, and multiple people have told me this before. When I started DJing, I never looked up online, oh, what should a DJ do? This and that, and blah, 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 blah. And I did before look up online, like just out of curiosity, and it always says you have to like read the crowd, the energy. No, that's not true. You don't have to do any of that. You are the DJ, you are the one providing the energy, and well, obviously, depending on what slot I have, that depends like how hard I go or this and that. But I definitely go by gut. I don't read the crowd. I feel like the crowd reads me. So. Someone books me and they put me in opening slot, like yeah, I'll play a little bit slower, but I'll still play hard. Do you know what I mean? Because they know who they're booking and this is what they want. And if they want, for example, they put me in an opening slot, they want the energy from the beginning to be that. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not gonna go a little bit softer or change my sound just because it's an opening slot. No, I will still be providing the energy that I give in a closing slot, maybe just a little bit slower. But I still provide the same type of energy. In Poland, I played in Jansan 1 and for a party called Reforma. It was their second edition. Jesus Christ, these Polish people, like I had never been to Poland before. These Polish people, let me tell you something. Like if you thought people here in Berlin were crazy, honey, go to Poland, babe. Poland, like I have never experienced such crazy energy like I did on that fucking like dance floor. Like people were dancing inside of the booth. Like, and I had never had that at a party where people are dancing inside the booth. So with you, like literally, like the decks are here and people are dancing on the fucking booth. I had never had that, like, this experience of like really like the crowd being inside of the booth. Like, it was just insane and everything was just flowing and the response of the crowd was just beautiful. Like, I had never experienced anything like this, honestly, like, and I think I'm gonna remember this one for the rest of my life. Like, it was insane. Poland is where it's at, girls. Definitely. Reforma, shout out to Reforma. You girls are crazy. Okay, so I'll tell you two situations that have traumatized me till this day. One of the situations was I had a live stream in London last year in January. Usually if I have a live stream or anything like that, I prepare the set fully from start to finish, you know, track by track, because I want to make sure, because it's a live stream, that it's going the way I want to. I don't like to really like freestyle like I do in gigs. So I had prepared this whole entire set and I plugged my USB in. The playlist is not there. The playlist is just not there. I literally start panicking and I don't know how to work under pressure. I start to get like this, but I just freestyled the whole entire set and it went exactly the way I wanted it to. Like, all the tracks that I had bought for that set were not there, you know? I started playing with like older tracks. And yeah, that really gave me even more confidence in myself after listening to that set. That like, damn, no, actually I can do anything, you know what I mean? Like, I had planned this whole set and I always had this mentality that in live streams, you know, I shouldn't freestyle, but no, like it went really, really, really well. But that was still very traumatizing. Now I like quadruple check my USB before leaving the house. Like, check it in the CDJs, make sure that everything is there, like really traumatizing. And then another thing is like a delay in the booth, where like the booth is like literally having a delay. So like I take my headphones off and it doesn't sound beat matched, but it's actually fucking beat matched. So then I just have to play with my headphones the whole entire time, which I fucking hate. Like, you know, like when I'm playing with my headphones, I'm not really with the crowd. You know, I'm so focused in my headphones, which is really annoying. Because I really like to be with the crowd. I really want the crowd to feel like I am with them on the dance floor, you know what I mean? Not that I'm just there providing the music, but that I'm also partying with them. So that was another technical difficulty. Now that I always have to make sure that there's no fucking delay in the booth, because even like if I have to have the booth to the full max, I'm gonna do that, you know what I mean? I'm gonna do that, but as long as there's no delay. I don't know how to deal with that because I'm such a perfectionist when it comes to, I'm not a perfectionist in my life, I'm so messy, just in general, you know? And when it comes to my sets, I just want it to be perfect, you know what I mean? So like, I'm so fucking focused that if that happens, it just ruins my gig in terms of like enjoying it. I don't know how to enjoy it because I'm so fucking focused. And usually I don't need 100% of my focus when I'm playing, you know? But if this happens, I need my 100% focus. And if I'm 100% focused on that, I don't have any percentage to be focused with the crowd as well. I'm just dancing my ass off with them. You know what I mean? Like truly dancing, like as if I'm on the dance floor. So many people have come up to me like after my sets and they told me we feel like you're on the dance floor with us, you know? And this is where I got this idea of like, oh my God, that's so fucking true that like I really am, I'm raving with them, you know, rather than just providing the music, you know? And like so many people have come up to me like, yeah, usually watching DJs is just so boring. Like, yeah, they're providing so good music, but it's kind of just boring. But with you, it's very like you're with us in the crowd, you know? And that's what I want to evoke with my sets, you know? In Rotterdam, our showcase for Dere Uni, I don't remember exactly what club it was, but this guy came up to me and then he was like, hi, I just want to tell you something. You are my favorite DJ ever. I actually like study your sets. So like he says that he's literally like goes home and he listens to my whole entire set and he studies this and figures out what I do when I'm playing, because my style is just the way he wants to play and that I'm his biggest inspiration. And that just like literally made me cry. Like the fact that this guy is like studying my sets. Like he says like he does it like homework. Like he sits down and takes notes on what I'm doing so he can play like me. That just really fucking touched me. Like I told him like that's fucking amazing that you want to play like me, but you should definitely like take inspiration but not want to play exactly like me. But the fact that he wants to play exactly like me just really like touched me. And the fact that someone is studying my sets like as if it's homework, that was crazy to me. I was like, you are amazing, and like if you want me to give you lessons, I can give you some lessons too. But yeah, that is something that really stuck with me, like this guy who's studying my sets. Like I still think about it to this day, like amazing. And then another interaction where in ADE in Amsterdam, someone came up to me and was like, I traveled all the way from Spain to come and see you. I was like, what? For me? Are you like, he's like, I swear I booked my flight. I saw that you were playing in Radion and I came specially to see you. And that was like, for me, the moment I was like, I'm gonna be doing this forever. Like, this really touched me that someone flew all the way, paid a fucking flight ticket to come and see me. Like, who am I, Lady Gaga? No, I'm not Lady Gaga, you know what I mean? And the fact that like, this guy paid like so much money, just a hotel, this and that, just to come and see me. I'm like, you should have fucking DM'd me. I would have given you guest list, babe. Like, what the hell? That really, really touched me as well. For the longest time, like one and a half years into me like playing in the clubs, I had imposter syndrome. Like I didn't believe I was a DJ. Like what is a DJ, you know what I mean? I couldn't believe that people actually consider me like their favorite DJ or this or that. But the moment like I got asked to be in an agency is the moment it kind of hit me that like, oh my God, no, I am that good. You know what I mean? That I do provide good music and I am so talented. But it was that moment when I got asked to be in an agency is when it all hit me, which is like a year and a half into me doing this, you know. It was a long journey, you know, like I doubted myself to the core, like, and I'm very insecure in general, you know what I mean? But now I'm not insecure at all with my DJing. Like I'm insecure in a lot of things, but I know I can play a fucking good set now, you know what I mean? I know I always provide. The imposter syndrome and the insecurity was really like, it was there, you know, and it was really, really, really hard to get over. But eventually I did, you know, like my manager, like, cause I was in a previous agency before Cromanti called Transition. And I think the booker that I had in that agency, her name is Kerto, she really like helped me build my confidence. I wouldn't have had this confidence without her, you know what I mean? She really was the one that was telling me every day like, girl, you're so fucking good and you don't even realize it. And without her, really, I don't think I would have gotten over this imposter syndrome. So thank you, Kerto. I love you so much. So last year, my brother got sick. He got cancer, and then he passed away. So in that whole entire year, I did not do any mixing. I had no inspiration. I didn't feel like, doing anything really. I was so depressed and so focused on taking care of my brother. And after he passed away, like, I don't know, something hit me. He was also a DJ and a producer. And he was 30 years old, so there's a 7 years difference between us. And he worked in a corporate job. He had a very good job. He was doing very well, but music was always his first passion. And he wanted to do this professionally, but he never had the guts to actually leave his job and do it professionally. And I think if he actually did take the risk and do this professionally, he would have been so fucking famous, because this guy, so fucking talented. After he passed away, something just shot in me. Like the day he died, actually, I was in London and I went to Pirate Studios and I took his USB and then I plugged it in. I recorded a mix with his music, just his music. And he doesn't play techno. He plays like house, more like Peggy Goo kind of style. And I hate that, but I plugged in his USB and I started playing and the inspiration just came back. I started to feel like, okay, I need to get back to it and live this dream for him. And just something shot in me. So I was so depressed, but just something shot in me. Like, okay, no, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be so focused on this. So there was a creative block while he was sick. I even had like so many like podcasts I was supposed to do in the time when I was taking care of him. I never did them, and it was very strange for me to have this feeling because I never had this creative block before. Like music was always my outlet, for everything. Like when I'm sad, I play music. When I'm depressed, when I'm happy, like any feeling I had and I mixed, it just amplifies it. And I think my creative block was horrible, but now I'm over it, so. Before I was in Chromanti, I was in this other agency called Transition. And that agency was shutting down. They're so amazing because they didn't just shut down and be like, bye-bye artists, you know what I mean? They put every single artist in a different agency. So like, they didn't just drop the artist. They were like, no, you're gonna go here and you're gonna go there. So every artist that was on the roster was put in an agency that is perfect for them. And I already knew Isabel, who is a queen. We were already friends before, and we've had such good conversations and we have such good connection, and I already knew that it was gonna work instantly. So they asked me, do you want to be part of Chromanti? And instantly I said yes. If I'm gonna work with Isabel, then yes, I want to be part of Chromanti, because Isabel just understands me and she understands the world and she wants what's best for me, and I already knew that from the start. So when I joined Chromanti, I felt at home already, But if it was with anyone else, probably I wouldn't feel that way, but because it's Isabel, I knew that it's gonna be successful and it's gonna be a perfect match for me. Oh yeah, 100%. I am so bad at answering messages, answering emails. No, really, I am the worst. And anybody who knows me knows that about me, that like, if you text Henny, he's not gonna answer, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I don't know if it's my ADHD, my ADD, or what it is, but it's something, Like, I scroll through my Bandcamp feed like it's fucking like Instagram, I don't even go on Instagram. I'm just always scrolling on Bandcamp and I just want to focus on the music. I lost so many gigs before I had an agency because I just would not answer emails. I wouldn't see them and I would be too late to answer or this and that. So now I can just fully focus on the music, and having someone else deal with all the emails and this and that, which I don't know how to deal with, really, really helped my career, Like now I'm not losing gigs. Now I just have to focus on the music, and that's what I want. And I know I need to up my game in my social media, but I'm trying and I'm getting there, and it's a journey for sure. But yeah, I don't think I'd probably be where I am without an agency, because I would have lost hundreds of gigs because I just don't answer emails. So I think for sure having an agent helps you focus more on the musical side rather than the technicalities and all that. So. I wish somebody told me to take it easy, because when I had the slightest mistake in my set, my energy would be completely drained, and you shouldn't be so focused on like one simple beat match that's off. It's about how you fix it and how you deal with it, and I think that's what really makes a real artist. And not only that, the way people hear you fix the mistakes also shows your talent and shows your depth and knowledge on mixing, and the mistakes are gonna happen, it's technology. Like sometimes there's gonna be a fuck up, but it's how you fix it and how you deal with it and how you deal with it under pressure. And I think that's what makes a real DJ, so. to not focus on the numbers of your followers, the number of listens. You just keep doing what you're doing and you will emerge to when the time is right for you. And as well to triple check your USB and make sure that your USB is not corrupted, because in one of my first gigs ever in Brett, I was mixing and I had my headphones on, and I was trying to figure out the next track, and then all of a sudden I look up and everyone's going like this with their ears, and I take off my headphones and it's going and it's just static playing outside. So the track was corrupted, and I didn't know I should triple check my USB, I didn't know that this shit could happen. So definitely triple check your USBs and to take it easy if there's a mistake, because when I ever did a mistake, all my energy would go towards me thinking about that mistake rather than putting the energy towards the set. And you could really see that I was sad and that I wasn't into it anymore just because of this simple mistake that I did. So just take it easy. It's not about the mistakes, it's about how you fix them again. I grew up loving Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga is my true inspiration. She is the reason I am the way I am today. My dad, he doesn't understand techno at all. He tells me my music sounds like frying pans hitting each other. This is not music. That's what he told me. I was 17, I stole my brother's expired passport. I took it, I didn't even ask him, I just stole it. And then I used it to get into Berghain. They asked me at the door, they were like, how old are you? My brother was 7 years older than me, so do the math. They believed I was 24 at 17. I didn't know what Berghain was exactly as well. Me and my friend just looked up oh, what do they wear, this and that. I went in a jock strap and just a fur coat, and it was February. And we got in. And yeah, that was that. It was history.